Guys, listen. Guys, listen to me. This game is fucking fantastic.
Ooh, baby, yeah, this is a game. This is a good game. It's a fucking video game, bro. It's a good fucking video game. You fight the fucking guys with your sword. You can be a sorcerer. You fight giant dragons. It's fucking great. This is a video game. You fight all the fucking bosses and you fight.
You know, at first I didn't want to make this video because Elden Ring has been out for almost like 2 months now. But then I was like, who fucking cares? 8 people will watch it anyway. And honestly, after bashing on Morbius as hard as I did, I'd kinda like to talk about something I enjoy. So, screw it. So yeah, like I said, Elden Ring is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Now some of you fine folks out there who live under rocks might be asking me, well Logan, what is Elden Ring? Well, I'll tell you. Elden Ring is the newest game from Software, the company most famous for having a weird ass name and making games that are so hard that people destroy their equipment in a blind rage. The last game from FromSoft, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, was a smash hit, and to the surprise of many it won Game of the Year, solidifying From Software as a force to be reckoned with in the game community. Although if I'm being honest, their previous games have kinda done that too. I mean, Dark Souls is like extremely famous. How many times have you heard a game reviewer refer to something as the Dark Souls of blank? This one's gotta be my favorite. What the fuck did he even mean by this? What does this mean? Dear God. Yeah, it's like the Dark Souls of breakups. But anyway, yeah, it's 2022, and the long-awaited Elden Ring has finally arrived. And I say long-awaited because for a long time, people were debating if this game even existed. It was shrouded under a veil of rumors for a long time. The only thing people really knew about it outside the fact that it was called Elden Ring was that George R.R. Martin was doing world building alongside Hidetaka Miyazaki. Martin's name, of course, got people outside of the Souls community extremely excited, because at this point the entire world had collectively agreed that he was responsible for everything good about Game of Thrones, and these guys were responsible for everything else. But after a bunch of leaked images that all contained a collective 15 pixels and a long wait time, we're here. The game is out, and it's really good. As are all of their games. But I bet the 4 or 5 people actually watching this video are tired of this stupid lead-up and want me to actually talk about the game itself and why I like it, right? Well, to that I say, fuck you, no. Go play it yourself. I'm just fucking with you. Let's get into it. So, obviously the biggest thing that differentiates Elden Ring from the previous Soulsborne games is that this one is open world. And I'm not lying to you when I swear that this is, honest to God, one of the best designed open worlds I've ever seen. It's very reminiscent of Breath of the Wild in the way that the map is this gigantic continent of open land with a few hundred landmarks scattered to the breeze in a random order. And there are giant buildings in the distance that, you know, very obviously scream, hey, come here if you want to do story shit. But the real beauty of it is the stuff you find on the way to the giant building. There's bosses roaming the fields that will force you off the main path into some cool side dungeon or some ancient ruins or into the path of an even bigger fucking boss. Or you can choose to face the boss head on, no matter how massively underleveled you are. And that's the real beauty of Elden Ring's open world. No 2 players will have the same experience with it. It's laid out in such a way that depending on your stats, your build, and your preferences, you can approach the game in any way that you want. And these factors also make this an extremely accessible game to casual people who may not enjoy the Souls franchise as much. Take, for example, this motherfucker. The Tree Sentinel is the first boss you see the literal instant you leave the tutorial. Well, not the literal instant. First you gotta talk to this guy who tells you that you get no pussy.
Shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless.
Now, I've encountered several different stories from different demographics about the Tree Sentinel, but the most common thing I've seen so far in the community surrounding this game are two different approaches. Typical Souls players, in their typical masochistic ways, will throw themselves against this horse-mounted fucker until they've beaten him. Doesn't matter if it takes 10 tries or 100, because that's the way we've been conditioned to fight bosses in other games. But a lot of casual players just say fuck that and run past him, with the intention to either never see this gold-tinted bitch again, or maybe to just come back later and whoop his ass when they're good and settled in. And I'm gonna go ahead and argue that that's how the game wants you to play it. That's the lesson that the Tree Sentinel is teaching the player. This is a game about abandoning all preconceived notions attached to previous Souls bosses, and simply saying, I don't feel like doing this right now, I'll come back later when I'm good and goddamn ready. And this leads into one of the game's biggest strengths, which is the fact that no player will have the exact same experience as anyone else. The customization options that are present to you from the literal moment you enter the character creator will begin your process of creating a character that is unique to you and only you. With 10 character classes to choose from and hundreds of ways to change the way your character looks, the game does its best to help you make something that you can be proud of and call your own. Elden Ring is the first game I've played where I'm not just planning a second playthrough after the one I'm on right now, I'm planning a third, fourth, and fifth playthrough, because every single class intrigues me in different ways. The combat is also incredibly unique and will vary for each player. You can choose any variety of weapon loadouts because there are hundreds of combinations. You can be a vagabond knight with a sword in his left hand and a sword in his right hand and a sword on his back, and basically this guy really likes swords, and also he's me. This is my character. You can be a thief sorcerer with a dagger in one hand and a staff that shoots annoying little blue light balls at your enemy in the other. You can be a samurai. That one's pretty self-explanatory. You can be the guy who hates himself and wants to play with nothing but the underwear on his body and a cool-looking spear because he doesn't want the game to be fun. You can be anything you want. You can kill guys with anything, and it's amazing. Another one of the game's massive strengths is its scope. And when I say scope, I mean it's fucking big. There's a lot of video game in this video game. When you start off, the map is tiny. It's very small and confined, and you feel like you could check everything out within a solid 15 hours. Then you beat that first boss, and you walk through the gate into this new arena, and you finally figure it out. You ain't seen nothing yet. The map is constantly growing and growing and growing, and every time you enter a new arena, you're just entirely overwhelmed by how much stuff there is to do, and every time, every single time, you think you've seen it all, the game just gets bigger. The map isn't crowded with waypoints. The game allows you to breathe and approach it however you want. It's genius. It is truly a feat of gaming engineering. By far, the most impressive open world I've ever seen. There are some AAA studios who could really take some notes from this game on how to design their open world. Ubisoft. I'm talking about Ubisoft. I am 85 hours into Elden Ring, and I still haven't beaten the game, because I just want to see everything I can before I do. And then I'm gonna go back and do it again. Now, all this being said, the game is not without its faults. The most common complaint I've seen for Elden Ring is that when you hit a certain point in the game, the enemies start to get a lot fucking harder. And not harder in the typical FromSoft style where they'll kill you and you're like, oh man, I'm really gonna have to pull out all the stops to get this guy. Nah, some of the late game enemies just have really fucking powerful attacks that come out of nowhere and kill you instantly no matter how level you are. And it's kind of frustrating at times, and it kinda turns you off of the game. But at the end of the day, all you want to do is go back because of how great everything else is. And I guess without getting into the super technical stuff, that's all I really have to say. So yeah, that's my short little recommendation for Elden Ring. Even if you've never played a Soulsborne game before, I strongly recommend this being your first. The game teaches you everything as it goes, and it is extremely accessible. And to end this video, right here, right now, I'm going to make a promise. I, Logan, being of sound mind and body, promise that if Elden Ring does not win Game of the Year for 2022, I will make a video praising Morbius. None of those jokey fake praises either. I will genuinely rewatch the movie and look for things that are good. That is how confident I am in this game. I can't wait to start my next playthrough, and I really hope that you guys check it out. Seriously, the game is amazing. I think I'm gonna go play it right now, actually. I'll see you all later.